Recording in progress.
Good afternoon. The time is now 3:30, and I hereby call the September 20th, 2022 meeting of the Area Planning Commission to order. Before we begin, I have a few announcements. Earlier this afternoon, we had a request from a petitioner on the Bittersweet Road property to table their meeting to the October meeting. So that, if you are here for the Bittersweet Road property, which is APC 2984-22, that is tabled to the October, what's the date? October 18th Area Plan Commission meeting. You're welcome to stay, but just so, before we got too far, that was requested to be tabled by the petitioner earlier this afternoon. Also, I got a few other announcements. This meeting is being held in person on the 4th floor council chambers of the County City building, and also virtually via Zoom. Video and teleconferencing links and phone information are posted on our website at sjcindiana.com. During portions of the meeting where public participation is permitted, the participating member of the public will have their microphone and camera, if any, turned on. If a member wishes to participate in this portion of the meeting, you should indicate this by using the raise hand function in Zoom and/or by messaging the host in the chat function. If you have two computer video windows open and a phone line active with a video window open at the same time, you'll create an echo effect, making hearing you impossible. Please choose one option. Regarding public comment, I will first ask for any public comment for those sitting in the council chambers, and then in the auxiliary seating in the building. Once those in person have provided their comments, those calling into the meeting remotely will be given the opportunity to provide public comment. You will have 5 minutes to speak your concerns or comments. Sign-in sheets for public comment have been removed to prevent everyone from touching the same pen. For this reason, please clearly state your name and address. Please do not be surprised if you are asked to spell your name for the record. Your speaking time will not start until after this is done. Now that announcements are over, may we please have the roll call?
Mr. Devon,
Present.
Mr. Hawley,
Present.
Mr. Moffett,
Here.
Dr. Thacker,
Present.
Ms. McCombs, Mr. McNamara, Mr. England,
Here.
Ms. Gendron,
Here.
6 present.
Thank you, Shelley. And also welcome to Tom. Tom is replacement for Ben Webb for the Town Council Representative of North Liberty. Welcome, and thanks for joining us. We are a 9-member commission. For those of you that don't know, we currently have 6 members present at our meeting. If any petitioner would prefer to have their petition heard by more members present, then they may ask to have staff have their item tabled for future meetings when more members might be present. May we have petition number 1 read?
Location 26395 State Road 2 Highway and 56450 Quince Road. Owner R&R Property LLC. Requested action from R Single Family District and C Commercial District, site plan specific, to C Commercial District, not site plan specific. APC application number 2982-22.
This is Kylie Abrams, Area Plan Commission staff. The petitioner is requesting to rezone the existing split zone property from single-family and commercial site plan restricted to commercial, and to rezone the parcel to the north from single-family to commercial. The current use is a gas station and convenience store with a storage shed and a single-family home to the east of the store on the same parcel, and a single-family home to the north on a separate parcel, which can be seen in this zoomed-in zoning map here. This rezoning will allow for the proposed expansion of a gas station. of the gas station. The single-family homes will be demolished, along with the accessory structures and the fence and the drainage swell. The site was previously expanded and rezoned, subject to a final site plan in November of 2000 for additional parking and storage. To the north are 2 single-family homes zoned R Single Family District. To the east is the single-family home to be demolished, zoned R Single Family District. And beyond that, another single-family home zoned R Single Family. To the south are 2 properties containing single-family homes zoned R Single Family. And to the west are 2 single-family homes with accessory structures that are both split-zoned C Commercial and R Single Family. Here's the provided site plan. Here's the final site plan that the property was subject to in the 2000 rezoning. Here's looking north on Quince Road and south on Quince Road. Looking west on State Road 2 and east. Here's the existing gas station and the existing storage shed to the north. Here's the existing home on the same parcel as the gas station to the east. And here's the existing home on a separate parcel to the north. And here's the home also split zoned C Commercial and R Single Family across from Quince Road to the west. Here's the provided site plan from the petitioner. The site plan shows the proposed expansion with the new asphalt parking where the existing single-family homes, fences, drainage basin, and storage pole barn are to be demolished. An additional diesel fuel canopy, which is 20 feet in height, is proposed with additional semi-parking spaces to the north and west. The site plan also shows 2 ingress-egress accesses along both Quince Road and State Road 2. Staff has received several letters of remonstrance in regards to these access points due to safety and traffic concerns. The county engineer has indicated that they will require 1 access point along Quince Road and would require it to be the improved northern access, shown here. And the access points along State Road 2 will be reviewed and ultimately approved or denied by the state of Indiana or INDOT. And here's another demolition plan. Onto the state criteria. Based on the information available prior to this public hearing, the staff recommends that this petition be sent to County Council with a favorable recommendation. An expansion of the existing commercial use represents responsible growth and redevelopment, one of the criteria shown here. The expansion and improvements are also supported by the 2002 Comprehensive Plan Goal 2, encourage the economic development of the county and its municipalities, and especially by Goal 2 Objective C, develop quality business areas to meet the retail and service needs of the planning area. In addition to any new or reconfigured accesses on Quince needing approval from the county engineer, and any new or reconfigured accesses on State Road 2 needing approval from INDOT, this project would require a commercial plan review and would be required to meet all requirements from other reviewing departments, including engineering, building, and fire. And we will take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions by the commission this time? Otherwise, may we have a presentation by the petitioner, please?
Good afternoon. My name's Deborah Hughes with Surveying and Mapping. I'm the civil engineer working with the owners on this project, and I prepared the site plan that you see before you. We appreciate the favorable staff recommendation for the rezoning. As was stated in the staff report, both of the parcels in question are partially zoned commercial and partially residential. If you would please show the zoning map. Thank you. The zoom out version, please. Thank you. So the home that's to the north is partially C and partially C red, partially yellow residential. And the parcel on State Road 2 is also partially C red and partially yellow residential. So the main purpose of this petition is to request that the properties be all C commercial and eliminate the split zoning. So a change in land use is the main focus of this proposal. As the staff report says, this is in line with the comprehensive plan for development of existing facilities. The owners have a successful business here and would like to expand it and provide truck fuel through the diesel canopy, and also better circulation through the site. This property's been a convenience store with gas station for over 20 years. The zone map amendment would make, as I said, both properties all commercial zones. So that's what the petition is about. And this zone change would allow the owner to make their expansions, to build their business and expand the services that they provide to the community. The owner also plans to add electric vehicle charging stations, which is shown on the site plan, and that's something that is not currently available in the area. Yeah, so those would be right here along the building. There's 4 existing parking spaces that would be used for the electric vehicle charging. So that's certainly a new market for them. Both of the former residences would be demolished as part of this project, the one that is on the parcel already, and then the one to the north on Quince Road that was recently purchased by the owners. As the staff report says, we do have to go through commercial plan review in the building department, and that would include all the drainage, zoning, fire, building department reviews, the 7 different city and county departments that would review the plan. So that was submitted on Friday, and we've started that process. We are not requesting any planning or design variances as a part of this plan. We do plan to meet all the county requirements, including the buffer zone type 2 landscaping that's required. The proposed plan does include does include a new access to Quince Road. I don't know if the visual has a full site plan without the background clipping, but if you go to the previous one, this driveway is actually lined up with the median opening on State Road 2, and perhaps the site plan you have that was given to you as part of the project would show that. Right now, any vehicle that wants to turn left into this station has to turn from the left lane of State Road 2 without any left turn lane, and then they have to make a U-turn around the median opening into the current driveway here. So this part of this project would be to add a left turn lane on State Road 2 for eastbound traffic so that they could safely pull out of the left lane to make a left turn, and then continue through the median opening straight into the station without having to make a U-turn to go back. So part of this project is what can we do to improve safety at this intersection? Everyone knows that there's been many accidents here. The owners just as well, they have a front row seat to these accidents. And they're interested in safety for their customers and employees just as much as I am as a civil engineer, just as much as the county planning office is, and all of you too. So what can we do to improve things? The State Road 2 access has to be reviewed by the Indiana Department of Transportation. We have made an application to them. I spoke to the state traffic engineer this afternoon, and we are going to be meeting with them to discuss access and what's the best way to improve the safety of this intersection. So they are open to talking to us about what we can do with this project to improve things. The Quince Road access will be through the county engineer, and I've talked with Sky Metters, the county engineer, about this as well, and as the staff report says, he will allow one driveway, whether it's the north one, the south one, or something in between. We'd like to work out with him. We'd like to let that not be a part of this decision, but that you'd allow us the ability to work with him to determine the best and safest option for access. The owner is willing to assist the county in developing a left turn lane for southbound Quince. The owner has property on both sides and would be willing to donate right-of-way that would be necessary. So there's an opportunity, again, to improve the safety of the intersection here if this zoning change is allowed. The existing building would not be changed. It was said in the staff report that they're going to be expanding the gas station. The building itself is not going to change, It'll remain just like it is. The existing fuel canopy will remain just like it is. The purpose of the project is to add the diesel canopy here and then the pavement that goes up and around to provide better circulation. And the petition also includes a new pylon sign, which will be located out here. The existing sign is closer to the intersection. The site is on a septic system and a well, and that would not change. The existing septic system would continue to serve the station. As I said, that's not being expanded in any way. And the existing well would provide water supply. There's no sanitary sewer water available. And representatives of the owner are here with me. We'd be happy to help address any questions you might have. Thank you for considering this petition.
Thank you, Deborah. Any comments by staff or commission? Otherwise, we will open this up to the public. Anyone present wishing to speak in favor of this petition, you may come forward and state your name and address. You will have 5 minutes to speak. Anyone here present wishing to speak in favor? Seeing none. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in favor? Please use the raise hand feature or mention in chat. Thought I saw a hand there somewhere. I thought I saw a hand somewhere earlier. when we were scrolling. No? Is there anybody online wishing to speak in favor? Is there a way to scroll through those names, Shelley? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move on to anyone present wishing to speak against this petition. Please come forward and state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon. Dan Caruso, 305 Compton Street, New Carlisle. Unlike the commission, I don't find anything responsible about this development and growth. I see, I see tragedy there, including a former neighbor of mine, Judy Richmond from Rolling Prairie, who was killed at that intersection. Numerous other people have been killed and injured at that intersection. There is a 50-mile-per-hour zone through that intersection from people trying to beat that light. And just in the first part of July, somebody got T-boned pulling through the light to turn off of Quince east on State Road 2. They pulled out when they thought the light was turning green, and the person coming the other way didn't want to slow down from 50 miles an hour, and there was a heck of a crash there. There's endless, and like the petitioner said, they've seen them. I think it is very irresponsible to go on with any kind of change to that intersection right now before we straighten out what's causing all the accidents. The 50 mile per hour both direction, and then as you go west, you want to keep going 50 because a quarter mile down the road it goes to 60. You don't want to decelerate if you don't have to, and everybody coming from the east tries to beat, not everybody, but most people try to beat that light when it's in the change cycle. There needs to be a change to that intersection, not to attract truck traffic, because that is what this is speculation. State Road 2 has been designated as the truck route in and out of the IEC area, and with this proposed battery plant is going to generate 150 to 200 semis per day, because for some reason, redevelopment has moved away from the rail that was going to service the area, and now they've moved on to semis. So it is going to bring people into that area, not even just for that purpose, but now there will be a fueling station there to attract trucks that normally wouldn't come into the area. So now you're going to bring this into this area that already is just a hot mess. My suggestion would be, and I don't know if it can be done on State Road, turn it into a four-way stop, the whole place. That way, there's no intersection to jump. You got to stop at that intersection. Yeah, is it going to cause backup? Tough luck. Use another route. But to throw this kind of fire into that mix before you put out the first fire is not responsible and does not promote safe growth. Thank you.
My name is Keith Zielinski. I live at 56720 Windsor Avenue, which is the next block over. Like the gentleman prior to me said, this is arguably the most dangerous intersection in St. Joseph County, and has been for a number of years. Instead of trying to do things to mitigate the danger and slow the trucks, the vehicles down, I've seen it I go on a walk on that street by my house. I see it all the time. There's a semi-trailer, can't stop, just blows the horn a few times, and just keeps on going through. When you stop there for the red light and that light turns green, you better look left. You better look left again. And I might add, you can't even see left a lot of the times because trucks park on the side of the road and run in there to get snacks and things from the convenience store. And now you can't even see around the corner to see if there's anything gonna blow that light. And that's incredibly dangerous. There's a lot of young drivers out there. They're gonna have to come up with something for that intersection. I don't have anything against the business myself, other than that this is not the place for it. You gotta fix what's there first before you can move on with something else. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Please come forward.
Adam DeMeyer, 56818 Pear Road. I've lived in that area for 45 years. I grew up on Quince, now live on Pear. I have seen accidents. I think the biggest thing that we're all here for is the safety of it. I go to that store all the time. I like these guys. They know what kind of cigarettes I smoke. But this, the traffic volume, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, is very, very bad. Coming home from work between 4:30, 5:30 to the west, you can't see that light because of the setting sun. So if it's red, green, yellow, you really can't tell. If you do 50 miles an hour on State Road 2, hang on, because you're gonna get blown off the road. Coming from the west heading east transversely in the morning, when the sun's coming up, you can't tell if it's red, green, or yellow. From a business standpoint, this makes perfect sense. I would want to do it too. From a safety standpoint, I just think it's a bad idea. Thank you.
My name is Joseph Bocan. I live at 26726 State Road 2, which is approximately a quarter of a mile west of the store. Second house west of Pear Road. Coming home Monday afternoon after taking my wife to the doctor, we almost got rear-ended, just trying to turn into our driveway. People blow the light. They don't stop. They don't go 50 miles an hour. And it's nearly impossible for us to get into our driveway. There is no deceleration lane off of State Road 2 past Pear Road. I have to stop in order to turn my vehicle into a narrow crossover to get to my driveway. And it's nearly impossible. They don't pay any attention. They could care less. My concern is also the semi-compression brakes. It is 24/7 they are on those compression brakes. There is no highway in the northern part of Indiana that requires compression brakes. Those things were designed for the hills out west to save the brakes on the trucks. They do not, from my house up to the store is uphill. They do not need to engage their compression brakes. If they're doing that, they're going too fast. And like I say, it's 24/7. 3 o'clock yesterday morning, some idiot had, woke us up with his compression brakes. They apply the brakes just to the west of my driveway, and they run them all the way up to the light. Every gear, they change gears until they're practically stopped. Not only will it increase heavy truck traffic, there's a lot of trucks hauling trailers, these trailer toters. The highway is loaded with those, but the increase in truck traffic and the noise is absolutely atrocious. It's not even worth living there anymore. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Lebuski. I live at 26249 State Road 2. So I'm about 5 houses east of that gas station on the same side. So I've lived there all my life. So the 4 points I'd like to tell you about today is there's already probably 200 or more semis that come past that area, down State Road 2 through that area every day already. And they do that because they get off of the US 20 bypass and they cut through State Road 2 to hit 94 instead of having to go up to the toll road and catch 94. It saves them probably a half hour, 40 minutes, and they don't have to pay any tolls. So that's why all these semi trucks cut through there. It got bad when the toll road got sold and things changed. So of those 200 or more semis that come past our house, we fought for a long time to get no compression brake signs put up. And they're up, east or west of Quince Road, they're there. And they're there, as the gentleman spoke before me, because of that noise. Now, I'm 65 feet off the highway, and I've sat on my front porch with a decibel meter. You know what a decibel meter is, right? Measures noise. When the semis that come by with probably a broken or modified Jake brake, and they hit that brake, it registered 65 feet off the highway between 100 and 125 dB. Now, that's a nuisance for a residential area that has 2 or 3 dozen nice houses out there. That's already a nuisance. If the islands get put in, that's going to increase trifold probably. So for those reasons there, I think it's a bad idea to increase the semi-traffic down State Road 2 for what they're proposing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else present wishing to speak against, please come forward.
Good afternoon, members of the commission and staff. My name is Philip Badger. I live at 26303 State Road 2, which is approximately 2 residences east of the gas station. And as many people have pointed out today about the speed limit in the area, it isn't very well enforced. It is difficult to pull in and out of our drive as well. In reading through what we received in the mail, I mean, we do understand that this is a site plan that's being submitted for rezoning purposes only. The site plan as it stands does pose some problems. We use the paved area as an egress and an ingress for our driveway. That would be the pass-through area that will eventually become an entrance for semi-traffic. A couple of other things that I've noticed is the diesel canopy that's being proposed in the site plan is to accommodate semi-truck traffic. So that would be large rigs or 18-wheelers, if you will. Those vehicles If they do use the State Road 2 as an ingress, they will then be using Quince Road as an egress, and I don't see anything in the current site plan to address the traffic concerns of that type of traffic on the county road. And that would be north of the current intersection. That is a concern also. Now, with everything that's being said, we know that this is a preliminary plan, and perhaps this is an opportunity to address some of the other issues about the traffic fatalities and such. We might be able to do something here, as somebody else had mentioned, the elevation of that intersection as it ties in with afternoon traffic between 4 and 5:30 is a factor, with the sun actually being directly behind those traffic signals. If the elevation could be changed, along with some other considerations, this could end up actually being a good proposal. But we would like to see some more thought given to the traffic and the speed limit considerations and the ingress and egress on both State Road 2 and Quince Road. Thank you.
Anybody else, please come forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Roy Decker. I live at 26752 State Road 2 in South Bend, about a quarter mile west of the intersection in question. In regards to this zoning change, my wife and myself are against it. She's at work today, but I believe this will make this area more dangerous, as several others have noted, due to increased traffic with all the accidents that have happened there over the years. Little by little, they've made some changes out there, but nothing's really seemed to have helped. So we definitely need to address that. A lot of semis speed through this area, as been mentioned. It's a 50-mile-an-hour zone, but rarely do they go slow as 50 miles an hour. I also have problems turning in because I live on the south side of State Road 2. If we're heading west and trying to turn into our driveway, a lot of times I've had to go down to the next cut across because I've almost been rear-ended by people. I mean, I start way ahead of time, tapping my brakes, putting on a turn signal, watching my mirror, and if you're not really watching, you end up getting run over. I believe there's also going to be increased noise pollution due to the increased trucks, as they mentioned, with the engine compression brakes that are being used, even though it's not allowed in that area. None of these things, speed limit or the engine compression brake ordinance, is being enforced. Sometimes pictures on our walls shake and that from all these trucks going by. They put rumble strips right in front of our house a few years ago, and that's only seemed to create more noise. It hasn't really slowed anybody down. You know, we moved into this area about 16 years ago. We wanted a more rural setting. We enjoy living out there, but the traffic has increased just a lot in these years since we've moved in there, and the noise and everything else has went up because of that. We really don't want the thing to be built up and more congested out there. We have a nice residential area out there. If we could quiet things down and keep things safer, that would be a great benefit. I also believe that doing this would decrease our property values due to this increased noise. If I was looking to buy this house nowadays, I wouldn't even think about it after sitting in the driveway for 2 minutes with all the traffic going by. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for hearing me.
Good afternoon. My name is Clem Litka. I live at 56720 Quince Road. I'd first like to start off with thanking Raj and his family for what they did in our community since 1979. They have made some changes, and they've been for the better. One thing that everybody keeps telling you, and I don't know how many of you have ever been through the intersection, but we've obviously seen many tragedies. It's like a funnel, and everybody's forcing their way through this funnel, and you cannot ask the police to monitor this 24/7, which is the only alternative. What one thing we need to look at as a commission, if you would take your grandchild or your child through there at 8 in the morning, because that's when I travel through there. We have school buses, we have semis, we have people on their phones. And contrary to what anybody says, we all know it's a bad intersection, but you're gonna have to figure out the solution before you authorize the improvement. And the reason why I say that is I drive truck. I see it around roundabouts all over on Bittersweet. They're putting one up on 6 and 2, all over. We have to come up with a solution that's responsible for what you're responsible for. We have to come up with a solution that's going to take this tragedy that has happened since 1979. I don't have the facts on how many people were killed there. And you're sitting here thinking, well, everybody's talking about the tragedies, but when you walk up and see 4 semis that have been hit in the back and the cab's completely ripped off, and that specific driver can't even be known if it's a man or a woman. Let me tell you right now, it's a bad intersection. Now take the time and give some thought to a roundabout. Take the time and give some thought to what you would do as a responsible parent, letting your 16-year-old drive to school, whether they're going to New Prairie, whether they're going to South Bend St. Joe, whether they're going to South Bend, Washington. Would you feel comfortable letting your child approach this intersection to and from school with the increased amount of traffic that's going to come through here? Now, again, I want to reemphasize, I really like what Raj and his family has done for our community. But it's in your hands to fix the solution, to get a solution to fix this tragedy-stricken area. And I'm sure there's going to be people in here that'll come up with the facts. I don't have the facts on how many, but I've been there since '79. And I will give you my word that it's not pleasant. If you're weeding in your garden and you hear the screech and then an explosion, you don't even want to walk out there no more to find out who died. And I don't know how many of you have been through that area, and maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but I will give you my word, it is bad. So fix the problem, and then maybe give some consideration to authorizing the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Deborah Durrell, 21677 Auten Road, South Bend. Thank you for your work today, and thank you for hearing us. I live on Auten Road, so that's very far north of this site. And Auten Road is not a highway, but a lot of the things that I'm hearing people say about living in near this intersection are happening in other places in our county, and a lot of what the people are doing to prevent being rear-ended are the things that people that live on Auten Road are also doing. So I can truly understand that this is a serious problem. And my concern is, from a zoning perspective, how do you continue to zone industry and commercial sites that continue to expand into residential and rural areas? I know this is a hot topic, and there's a lot of discussion on both sides of this. But this is a perfect example. I think one person brought up the air pollution. I've been in a semi-truck from time to time going across the country with my brother, and I know they do not turn these engines off when they stop the truck for the large part. So we're not only looking at the noise pollution and the danger on the roads and that kind of thing, but we're also looking at the increased air pollution in a residential area. If these people do not have quarter-mile driveways off of the road, their quality of life and their property values are being greatly affected by what we are doing with transportation as the traffic continues to increase and the industry requiring large vehicles continues to increase. we need to start taking a look from a zoning perspective at what do we do with where people actually live. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Allie Olson. I live at 1739 East Jefferson in Mishawaka. I work, though, at 52200 Quince Road for an organization named Reins of Life. We serve children and adults with disabilities, working towards physical, cognitive, social, and behavioral goals. Weekly, we have about 200 participants coming to the barn with their families. That's not including the hundreds of volunteers that are helping feed our herds of horses, as well as volunteering in the classes to help our students reach their goals, as well as interns. And a lot of our interns and our volunteers are high school-aged students that are coming and getting their hours for school. It is part of our communication to our interns and volunteers and families about the dangers of this intersection. I personally know that when you are turning right, turning north to turn onto Quince from 2, you do have to use that shoulder area because people behind you will not pay attention, and there's a fear of getting rear-ended there. We ask students and their families and volunteers to pause and take another look at that intersection to make sure traffic is not trying to come through that red light, because it does happen. It's happened numerous times in front of me. I'm thankful for a convenient store and gas station right there that I can get gas at before I drive 30 minutes to go home there, especially in the winter. So I'm very grateful to have you guys there, but I do think improvements need to happen before we make a dangerous situation more dangerous. We have a K-12 school program at the barn, so we have special education classes, behavioral support classes, life skill classes coming to the barn throughout the week, and that is steadily increasing every year with more classes coming, getting bused to the barn. So thank you for your consideration. I know that there is such a focus on youth. I recognize some faces that attended my games when I was in high school here. So I'm just thank you for their consideration in keeping our youth and our community safe.
Thank you. Anybody else present wishing to speak against the petition?
Hi, I'm Al Dumeyer, 56775 Quince Road. I've lived out there for 70 years. It's changed. All I can do is echo what everybody has said. The intersection is very dangerous. That needs to be fixed, in my opinion, before this goes through. Nothing against the guys. Like my son said, they know the cigarettes I smoke. They're good people, and they don't want to see the accidents either. So that needs to be taken care of first. Thank you.
Judith Rubleski, Rubleske, 515 South Mead Street in South Bend. Everybody's listed many reasons. I'm concerned about quality of life and quality of life for the residents, quality of life for all life because of the air pollution, and safety is always primary. So, and this is a speculative arrangement. So fix the intersection first, and then maybe work on real progress for transportation of goods. Maybe we need to relook at rail instead of more semis. When the semis get into South Bend, we are getting more sinkholes because of water mains breaking. That happened about 2 weeks ago on Sample Street. A lot of those semis carry extremely heavy loads, and that our streets are not designed to handle. So it's just quality of life all around, but not just for human life and residents, but we all need the air to be clean too. And if you've ever been to Elwood, that is a semi-nightmare. And I don't want us to go in that direction. I've been to Elwood in Illinois, and it will really open your eyes to when semis rule the road, there's no quality of life for any life, okay? Thank you. And I appreciate your attention, and I appreciate every one of you that spoke and brought up very good points. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in person wishing to speak against this petition?
May I add one thing? My name is Joe Bocon. I live at 26726 State Road 2. I would very much like to invite any one of you on the panel to sit in my backyard with me on my swing. I will provide the beverage of your choice, and I want you to listen to these obnoxious semis. Please take my invitation.
Anybody else?
Mark Anella, 1301 North Michigan Street. I just want to reiterate that the young people of South Bend do not want diesel traffic. We do not want diesel pollution, and we are not interested in the economic gain of a few people. We do appreciate the small business that is there and how it serves the community, but we do not see how increased diesel traffic and increased diesel pollution will help anybody in South Bend. So please consider all of our health going forward. Thank you.
Again, anybody else present? Seeing none, I will move to online. If there's anybody online wishing to speak against this petition, please use the raise hand feature or say so in the chat function. Like Mary.
Hello, is that me?
Yes.
My name is Mary Countryman, 52959 Timothy Road, New Carlisle, Indiana. I would like to speak against this expansion. While I think it's great there's a small business there, there is too much of a mess, too many accidents, too many lives. I have almost been rear-ended at that intersection before and had to pull off to the side or else I would have been hit. The whole intersection is a mess. I don't have the answer, but something needs to be improved before you add to it. And adding the semis, the diesel, and it's just inviting more semis. And anybody that lives along Highway 2 or off of Highway 2, parents of school kids will tell you trying to get the kids to and from school is a nightmare. Trying to cross Highway 2 is a nightmare. And they said that this is going to only make it worse by adding and encouraging more semis to use that road. So it needs to be fixed. I don't think it needs to be expanded. It needs to be fixed before the whole solution is not clear, but it needs to be fixed before it gets any worse. And anybody that votes for this, I hope they're up for attending funerals and visiting people in the hospital, because if you vote for it, that's what's going to happen. It's just going to make it worse. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, just a reminder for those of you wishing to speak against this petition online, we ask that you please turn your video on as well when you are speaking. Anybody else, please use the raise hand feature. Seeing none. Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing, and the petitioner may have a chance to rebut.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone who spoke. What I heard loud and clear is that this is a unsafe intersection, that there's dangerous traffic movements that happen today. If this petition doesn't happen, if we're not here today, none of that's going to change. There's still going to be semis on the road, they're still going to be using this route. None of that's going to change. The project would provide an opportunity to improve things. Otherwise, it's a state highway, they've got lots of priorities. This may not be one of their top priorities, but here you have an owner who's willing to invest private money in public improvements and make the intersection better. So that's what we have to offer, is an opportunity to improve things. The traffic, the background traffic is not anything we have any control over. The opportunity to improve things and to make it safer, that is something that we're offering. The trucks that do pull off by the side of the road, this would provide a place for them to pull in and park, get them off the road. Truck traffic is going to be what it is. We can't control that. But there is an opportunity to make an improvement here. And there was rezoning, the land use change would be the first step on that process. We'd be happy to address any questions the board might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Any questions by the commission at this time? No. Staff have any comments or questions?
It was just brought to my, Abby Wiles, APC Director. It was just brought to my attention in my conversations today with our economic development and engineering staff that NDOT is looking to make some improvements along this corridor. Major project from the bypass to 220, including new pavement, drainage, and other improvements. But ultimately, it is NDOT's highway, and they have jurisdiction over what improvements are made at the intersection.
Thank you, Abby. With that, does anybody want to make a motion? I do agree. Just a quick comment. Obviously, we've all heard there needs to be improvements. There needs to be improvements, and being in the industry, seeing how things work, things aren't just generally going to improve. The way departments work, state, local, all these communities work. You have multiple jurisdictions here at this intersection. It does take projects like this to bring light of other, attentions of things that are issues and what can be done to improve these issues. So, I do agree with Deborah that things like this will bring NDOT's attention. They have to approve this, and that's a major obstacle. These aren't easy tasks to happen, but these are things that NDOT and county and all these department heads will need to discuss and agree on to be able to move this forward. Otherwise, it won't get moved forward. So, my two comments.
And Adam, just to clarify for everyone today, because I know we have some folks that have been to APC hearings before, but we probably have some new people. You all are sending voting to send a recommendation to the county council. It will then go to committee and to them for final public hearing.
We aren't the end all. This is just a recommendation to the council.
Favorable, unfavorable, or no?
You can do favorable, unfavorable, or no recommendation.
But our job as a commission is to bring a recommendation of one or the other.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank all of the people that showed up and came before us today. This tugs at my heart, and I was born and raised here in South Bend. I know that area real well. I drove it the other day, and I was just amazed at the traffic. I was coming back from LaPorte, and like you said, cars and trucks and everything. But we got to move forward. Somehow we got to move forward. And if we don't move forward, it's going to be the same as it is right now. And with that being said, I'd like to make a motion that we vote in favor of the petition that's presented before us today. Bob Hawley.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to send APC 29.
Favorable recommendation.
We have a motion and a second to send APC 2982-22 to the county council with a favorable recommendation on the rezoning. There's no, do we have to do roll call? Roll call,
Mr.
please.
Moffett?
Yes.
Ms. Gingeron?
Yes.
Dr. Thacker?
Yes.
Mr. Hawley?
Yes.
Mr. England?
Yes.
Mr. Devon?
Yes. Vote is 6-0, motion carries.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody coming. Again, item number 2, APC 2984-22 has been tabled by the petitioner and will be read at the October meeting. For anybody else that did not hear that announcement prior to the meeting and at the beginning of the meeting. That will be it for the public hearing portion of it. We do have a couple things miscellaneous, not requiring a public hearing. No? Executive Director's report?
Working groups for the comprehensive plan continue. Thank you for everyone who is volunteering on that effort. We presented the IUC draft overlay to you last month, and it is not in your packets this month. We held it back another month because we are going to need to bring forward multiple ordinances related to that petition, and we needed to ensure proper legal notice requirements are met and to give staff additional time to review. So we anticipate putting that on your agenda at a future date. It's not dead, it's just on pause while we work through the legal requirements for the petition.
Abby? Anything for comprehensive plan?
Just that the working groups are continuing. Thank you, Adam, for your volunteer, for volunteering with housing. Brittany and Emily, I think that you're involved with
I'm at Quality of Life.
quality of life, right? Farm, right, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, we have minutes from August 16th to approve.
I make a motion that the minutes be approved.
Bob Hawley, second.
Got a motion, a second to approve the minutes of August 16th, 2022. All those in favor, state by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have a motion for adjournment. Anybody? Second? Got a motion, a second to adjourn. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, everybody.
That sounds like a good place to put a wrap.